How's it going, everyone? It's Spencer here with Spencer's Stuff. Welcome to the community. I appreciate you being here. Today I'm just having something that I wanted to talk about, kind of get off my chest. And basically this video is going to be a one take kind of thing. I'm going to talk about the most important speakers that you ever buy. And you might be asking yourself, how can he possibly choose what the most important speakers that anyone buys is going to be? And I wanted to talk today about this. So, to put it quite frankly and simply, the most important speakers you're ever going to buy are the first ones. And I've thought about this greatly as I've been going throughout my home theater journey throughout the years. I'm going on 7 or 8 years now that I've been involved in this hobby. And it's one of those things where I've looked at the past and I found the times that I've had the most joy with my system is either building up the anticipation into a new system, or it's having my first system and building pieces of that system up so that I can improve upon that. But then I stopped and thought to myself, what was the most important time for me personally that I really found this hobby to be the most enjoyable? And I can definitely say it was when I first got my Klipsch RP160Ms. That was back in 2017, I believe. This is one of those things that I always want to talk to people about because it's so important in this hobby. We're in a situation where we have AVRs, we have TVs, we have projectors, we have a bunch of electronics, we have speakers, we have this and that, and they're always improving. And one of the things that I think you can kind of get lost in, and I know I've done it throughout the years, is you get lost in the upgrade path. And as someone who has been in that situation where you always say, well, what I have is not good enough because this person over here has something different than I do, and theirs is better than this, and the specs on this are better than that. You get so tied up in what you're watching, what you're doing, what you're using, and what the upgrade path is that you don't just stop to enjoy what you already have. And this is one of those things that I want to talk about with everybody else is you need to have some humility when it comes to your system. And even if you have a higher end system, there needs to be a point in time where it's an encouragement to help people choose a new system or choose an upgrade path, but not necessarily antagonize them because of the way they have things set up. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed on forums and everything else is someone might have something misplaced slightly because they're in a living room and they're immediately reprimanded for it. This is something that you don't want to do to someone. They're still obviously trying to learn. You can give them pointers and whatnot, but there's no point in reprimanding someone who's just trying to post a system that they're proud about. And one of those things that I always say to people is you need to have a little bit of humility. You need to just enjoy what you have and take what knowledge you have and provide it for other people, because what you have now might look like crap for you later on, but it might be gold to someone else. I know for a lot of us, we forget that this is a hobby that not a lot of the population is going to be interested in. Speakers is not something that everyone is going to have. And you need to remember that a lot of times, your system is probably going to be better than 90 to 95% of what other people already have. So that appreciation is something that's very important. And I know for me personally, it takes some time to sit down and grapple with that because I always love to be on an upgrade path. I always like to look at the next big thing. And I know with my THX system in Klipsch, I plan to upgrade this in the future. But then I stopped and I thought to myself, I have an incredible system that probably 99% of the population would be floored to have. And sometimes I need to just stop and appreciate that. Or I have a TV in there, a Bravia 9 that is incredible. And it's something that 99% of the population would be floored to have. And I'm sitting here saying, I can't wait to upgrade it. So take a step back, think to yourself, what were your first speakers that you had? Or if you're just getting into this home theater journey or just into 2-channel in general, really think about what you have or what you want. Now, for those people that are planning on coming into the home theater space or the 2-channel space, I always recommend you step back, obviously look at reviews and whatnot, but kind of find what you're wanting, what sound signature you might have, and really focus on what you want to start out with. It could be a brand, it could be a system, it could be a type of speaker, it could be a bookshelf speaker, it could be your towers, anything along those lines. And tell yourself, how do I get to a point where I can get that speaker? Maybe you're looking at a Klipsch RP8000F Mark II, but all you can afford is an R820F. Maybe you need to just stop for a second and before buying the 820F and getting FOMO or any sorts of regret, purchaser's remorse, anything along those lines, you need to figure out how to budget your way so that you can improve your plan forward. Because if you take pride in your 8000Fs, you're not going to have that FOMO, you're not going to have that anticipation that what you bought is not good enough as much. Now you might have it later down the line when you see newer products, but you might tell yourself, man, I saved up for this, I purchased it, and I'm happy that I bought this and I waited it out. Another thing I want to tell people is just because you start with 2 speakers doesn't make you a failure if you're trying to go into home theater. 2 speakers is a fantastic experience when it comes to cinema too. Stereo for a long time was a standard, and you can get really great quality audio and great immersion and soundstage just from having 2 speakers. Immediately you're going to notice that you are getting a very nice center point on your screen that you won't be able to get from a soundbar necessarily. You're going to get much better fidelity because you're paying for drivers that are higher quality than what you're getting in maybe a soundbar or something along those lines. And I'm not discrediting a soundbar. I don't want anyone to think about that. But you're really investing in your future by getting a set of speakers. Because now what you can do is there is an upgrade path if you choose to do it. You can take that upgrade path and move into a 5-channel system. You can get a subwoofer, you can get a center channel. You have so many options to choose from. And you can also choose to just stay in 2-channel if that's what you prefer and really hone in. Maybe you get better equipment, maybe you get better processors, and maybe you make a really truly immersive 2-channel experience because you bought really nice speakers to begin with. So at the end of the day, what I tell you is be humble about your system and really fine tune and pick the speakers you want. If you're just getting into the space, just be patient with it. Find those speakers that you really want to start out with and find a way to afford them. And if you can't afford them right now, be patient. Patience is a virtue for a reason. I have it everywhere. I put that everywhere. It's a virtue for a reason because at the end of the day, if you're patient about things, 99% of the time it's going to work out for you. Or 99% of the time, what you decide to do instead of your current impulse is going to be much better off. So patience is a virtue. Humility is very important as well. If you already own a high-end system, please be humble, be helpful. Help people out around you so that they can improve their systems, but also find ways to give them pointers, give newer people that are in this space a chance to really develop their knowledge and their abilities in this space. Because as we continue to take this home theater space, this 2-channel space, and bring people into it, it becomes more popular. It provides us an opportunity to get new products, a lot new products, because as these other companies start to sell more speakers, they make more money. They can spurge more into R&D, which means that they might be able to come out with new lines of products that we didn't necessarily get before. And on top of that, we can have fun. We can have people over at our places and truly enjoy what our hobby is here for. And it's a community. That is one of the most important aspects of any home theater, any 2-channel system. The joy you're going to get out of it by sharing it with others is one of those things that I always tell people you want to look at. Let's build out that community, be respectful of each other, and let's keep building this out and have a good time doing it. So patience, humility, community. I hope you all enjoyed this. It was just kind of a rant that I had on my mind today, and I really wanted to share it with you all. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you have any comments, seriously, bring them up. I really want to discuss with you all what you are thinking. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching. I'll see you all later and hope you have a good day, great evening, whatever it might be in your area. Peace.